The former chairperson of Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Correctional Services, Vincent Smith, says he took out a loan with Angelo Agrisi and not Bosasa. He says the loan was paid into his account so he could pay school fees.
I did not borrow any money from any company. The loan agreement was between me and Angelo Agrisi, and there is correspondence to that effect by way of an SMS. My loan agreement was with Angelo Agrisi. And the reason why I had this agreement with Angelo Agrisi in 2015, a few months, I don't know the time frame prior to that, Angelo had come to me to ask, for instance, to help him with an unemployed son. I do this all the time in my constituency. And he came to me, and I indeed was able to do that. I, in turn, also went to him when my own son developed behavioral problems. And he referred me to a service provider who could help him with that. So the point I'm raising, Chair, is that there was some sort of a cordial agreement with me and Angelo. And my loan, and it's borne out in the correspondence, was with Angelo. The final point I want to make on that one, Chair, is that nowhere in the records of the deposit, for want of a better word, is there any reference to Bosasa. It was not Bosasa. I had gone to Angelo Agrisi on the basis of the relationship that we had created, made a personal loan with Angelo Agrisi. The money was put into my account. I paid for the school fees. It was never ever a Bosasa agreement. It was an Angelo Agrisi agreement. So I just wanted to correct that I never made a loan with a company. It was with an individual.
Smith agrees that he knew late Bosasa boss Gavin Watson since the 90s. He says all their meetings were about his constituency and ANC matters. He dismissed suggestions he had any influence on the department's decision. I indicated earlier on that I have and did meet Mr. Watson from 1990, or the early 90s onwards, on matters that related to my constituency and normal ANC work. I also did indicate that I met many stakeholders in various locations, Chairperson. And the third point that I'd like to make, Chairperson, is that whether Mr. Watson had me in his pocket or not as a perception, the separation of powers just did not allow a member of parliament to get involved in the day-to-day working of any department. So I could not have influenced the department just by virtue of the separation of powers, even if I wanted to. So yes, there could have been a perception created, and I must accept that there must be, but then it could be with any other stakeholder that I met, and I met many stakeholders over the time. This one might be because it was under investigation. In retrospect, maybe there could have been that perception, but there was never ever anything untoward. It was a normal meeting with stakeholders. And thus I said that I'm not comfortable seeing them on my own. I'd rather see them with others that were the committee. I had no fear of any influence unduly put on, or pressure put on me, Chair.